I really can't recommend this to the average consumer as of right now. I just can't tell you the bias without doing some serious research. What I can say to this person is like, what do you want out of something like this? So here's how I came into the whole Steam Deck world. I saw the reveal for it and I was like, that's a pretty cool idea. At the time I didn't know that it was something that was actually meant for me. Fast forward, after some further research, I was like, now I'm kind of interested. So I reserved it and had to wait way too long to get it. I actually had a chance to get it the first time. I reserved it the first time to see if I could get lucky, which I did, but unfortunately I didn't have the funds to do so at the time, so I had to basically let the reservation expire, which I felt so bad for. I should have gave that reservation to somebody else who actually needed it, but such is life, right? So I actually bought my Steam Deck through a second-hand dealer, and that's history from there. Here's some things that I was expecting to get when I got the Steam Deck. I was expecting to play some crazy AAA games, and I got exactly that. Most of the games that I play, which is mostly AAA with some online functionality, I rely heavily on the Steam Cloud, so that was something that I always used a lot. And it was great for the most part. However, there is some things that you have to consider when you are playing most of these games. So if you go on google.com, if you go to Steam, if you type in the name of said game and put ProtonDB right after it, it's going to bring up this website that shows basically this whole forum, and you're going to see a specific title tagged next to that game. And the tags are Platinum, Gold, Silver, Bronze. Platinum being the highest, like the game runs natively, it's perfect for the Steam Deck. Gold still runs just as great, runs pretty good. You're gonna have some issues, but nothing too crazy. Silver, you're gonna have some issues that might be a bit much. You have to go through some hurdles to get the game to actually launch. And then Bronze being flat out a no-go. I mean, you're gonna have to do some crazy magic tricks to get that game to launch on this thing with Bronze. Most things I do play are gold, with I think some games that are actually just platinum, and I don't play games that are silver and below. I just don't touch those games. It's not worth the time. So most of my games are mostly gold. For example, I finished the entire Mass Effect trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. I finished 2 and 3. I finished 1 separately on PC, but I finished 2 and 3 exclusively on the Steam Deck. What did not meet my expectations, however, was the battery life with this thing. The battery life is absolutely terrible. It's not the greatest. I tried playing a title like Elden Ring on this thing. If you do, you're not going to get no more than maybe an hour out of this. And that's still something that Valve is still working on. I believe it's the battery and the screen. That's their big major change for the future, is the battery life and the screen. If I'm not exactly sure. If you are a person who plays heavy games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, any games that require a lot of resources, like those graphically huge games, you're not gonna get much out of it with this thing. So you're gonna have to. I actually carry around this thing with my travel case along with my power adapter because I don't particularly trust this by itself without the power adapter, because I play a lot of resource heavy games. I think with Mass Effect 2 and 3, with Mass Effect trilogy overall, I think with Mass Effect 3 I was able to get about maybe 2 or 3 hours out of this, and that's because it's an older game. I mean, other than that, that's really the biggest thing that kind of got to me was the battery life, and I kind of got used to it, because I mean this is a PC. That's something that I'm gonna keep on saying that this is basically a computer, and it takes a lot of resources. Like the fan on this thing. That's another thing I just remember is like the fan. When you're playing something like Elden Ring, it sounds like you're flying a jet in the living room. It's hilariously loud, and it's great. I can just imagine you trying to like play this at night as a kid. And as younger, we like to sneak under the cover and play our Game Boy games, stuff like that. Imagine playing something like this behind your parents' back. You wouldn't get very far, I think. Not everything is perfect. It has its glitches, its problems, but those are the two biggest things that I've noticed that were very noticeable that I was not expecting to be pretty noticeable. The PC games' compatibility is pretty solid so far. There's certain games that will have issues that I can't think of. The games that I play, which is mostly action, adventure, story-based type games, with a mixture of like fighting games. I was playing Mortal Kombat on here once, and it ran fine for the most part. Can't reinstall it though for some strange reason. Racing, I have not tried a racing game on here yet. I will be doing that very soon. But I play mostly story games, some side scrollers, games I don't really require too much. I like to play like older games with this thing. Like, I'm currently playing GTA 4 with this, and it's good. It runs pretty good for the most part. It has its issues sometimes, but it runs perfectly fine. If you play like a lot of older games with this thing, you're gonna get quite a bit of like some playtime with this. Maybe 2 or 3 hours with some games that are like 2020 and like older. So it's that's not that bad. What else is there? So the PC compatibility games for me personally, for the games I play, have been solid for the most part. I can't say that for someone who plays more intensive games like multiplayer shooters or what have you. I don't do most of those games. So that comes down to the kind of gamer that you are and what you're looking for in PC games. Overall, like I'm a huge backlog gamer, and this thing is great for backlog gaming. I just love it. And for me to be able to finish the rest of the trilogy, Mass Effect trilogy on this thing, I just can't believe. And it was great. I love playing Hitman on this. It's, again, the fan coil thing, because Hitman 3 is a very graphically intensive game. You got the ray tracing, what have you, especially if you're playing on high preset. You're gonna, it's pretty loud. But to be able to play that and do my elusive targets or all the other events on here while watching TV or watching TV or something like that, it's just crazy. So I like playing games that I could just like plug in some headphones or whatever and play a nice story game like Life is Strange True Colors. I'm currently playing that. Yeah, I like games I'm a single player gamer, and so I don't play like Call of Duty and stuff like that really. But yeah, I play mostly games that are just more just like chill and relaxed, and it's great for that. I really can't recommend this to the average consumer as of right now. Unless you are a PC enthusiast, go for it. I think this is something that is very, very fun to have if you are a huge PC enthusiast, because the things you can do with this thing, you can do this. Again, this is a gaming PC, so everything you can do with your gaming PC, especially if you're new to the world of Linux, because this runs Linux, it's gonna show you some new things that you never been exposed to before, and that's really, really cool. So a person who is a veteran or who is a part of the PC world, I think this is something that is really, really cool to have, because to be able to continue your games on you play your games on your main PC and then just take this with you somewhere and continue your saves. Great. A good portion of all the games are good with Steam Cloud. So you should be perfectly fine playing most of your games, on your gaming PC and then taking them on the go with the Steam Deck. Something to also consider. So yeah, a PC enthusiast would really appreciate something like this. But for someone who doesn't do much of that, I just can't tell you to buy this without doing some serious research. What I can say to this person is like, what do you want out of something like this? Because this is not your average console game / PC gaming thing. This is not a simple piece of hardware. That's something I could really say. This is not really simple, and that could be awesome for someone, again, PC enthusiasts, because if we all know, there's nothing simple about PC gaming ever, and that's fun to people like us. But to someone who just wants to sit down and play a game without any hitches, you might be in for a bit of a ride there. Especially if you're playing like brand new titles. If you're expecting to play like something that's like that just came out this year and expecting it to run flawlessly, that's not going to happen. And yeah, that's the gaming industry in general, but particularly with this piece of hardware, it's not. And for the price tag, which is $50 more than the Switch OLED, if you're someone who plays more, you know, I don't know, JRPGs and stuff like that, and you're a bit more on the casual side, I can't recommend something like this to a casual gamer. I think a Switch would probably be more up your route, because this is not a simple device, and that could be a bit of a turn off for an average gamer, I think. Again, but do your research, look into it, and see if this checks any boxes, because this might be the perfect console for someone like you. You just gotta do the research. The things I'm looking forward to with the Steam Deck, though, is being able to run Windows on this thing. I cannot wait to do Windows with this. I am a Xbox Game Pass user, and the one thing that's missing from this that will make this the absolute perfect console for me is if I'm able to do my Xbox Game Pass games on here. And you're gonna need Windows, because you can't really do that unless you probably go through some loopholes. I'm not exactly sure, but from what I've done for my research, you're gonna need to use Windows to get the Xbox Game Pass to work on here. You can do the streaming thing. You can stream your Xbox games through here in some kind of way. I'm not exactly confident with streaming games in general. Actually, it's not. My internet connection is not the best with that. So I prefer just to install games on my stuff and just play them from that way. So I'm really looking forward to having Xbox Game Pass on this thing and then play all the games through that subscription service on here, which is going to be really, really awesome. So I really can't wait to have Windows on here. I'm waiting for an update where I can just go between SteamOS and Windows, and that's just going to be perfect. I can't wait. That's going to be the update where I'm like, okay, I'm all in. That's it. This thing is perfect. I'm good. That's one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to. Other than that, though, you know, more updates to keep this thing more stable. You know, games that, you know, they're still verifying a good portion of games as we speak. You know, Valve is killing it with the updates with this thing. You know, it's not something that happens like every once a month. Like, I'm seeing like updates for this thing like within weeks. So they're still supporting this heavily, which I'm not surprised about. And I look forward to see where this is going to go within the next 2 or 3 years. Hopefully we have the big Windows update sooner than that. But yeah, that's something I'm very, 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 very confident this thing is going to break down some barriers when it's ready. And it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. So those are my thoughts about the Steam Deck. I've loved this piece of hardware so much. And if you have any questions, let me know. Go in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I will also put the Steam Deck community Reddit page in the description below. So if you have any questions for them, follow that page and ask away. Because the Steam Deck community, that's another good part about this thing, is that the Steam Deck community is absolutely the nicest community ever. They're very, very nice. They're very open to answering any questions and stuff like that. And it's great. So if you're thinking about it, you know, visit that community page, do some research, and see if this thing works for you. Because if it does, if it checks all your boxes, it's definitely gonna be fulfilling for you, for sure. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.